been married 10 and a half months.
We've been married 19 years.
We have been married 30 years.
I proposed by making a trip out to Iowa from Ohio a day earlier than what I was planning on coming out, and then and she had no idea, and then I got out about noon and started making dinner and basically preparing the plate or setting table and everything like that, just trying
and roses, lots of roses.
Yeah, just trying to get everything ready so that when she walked in the door, I was standing kneeling in the garage, and
on a blanket with roses.
And she dropped her.
I had gone grocery shopping that day, and I walked in from kind of a tough day at work, and I walk in the garage door, and he's there, and I dropped everything. And I don't think I said anything. I just was like, "What are you doing?"
But obviously then she said yes because we got married then.
So Ruth came and surprised me in Goshen. She lived in Indianapolis, and she came up and surprised me on my birthday. And so we took a walk down to the dam at Goshen. There's water, a pond and stuff. So, and then I proposed to her there.
Well, we were sitting on the couch and talking about things, and she suggested that she's going to be an old maid for the rest of her life. And I says, don't think so unless you don't answer correctly. And I asked, will you marry me? And she said yes.
I would say the biggest adjustment just is adapting to my mood affects his mood, and his mood affects mine. And so if I've had a bad day at work, I come home and he may have had a good day, and then I can drag him down by that. And so I would say that just emotions and moods, and learning that sometimes you have to just be happy so that you can be happy together, even though you don't always feel that. So I think that's a pretty good adjustment.
For me, it was probably just blending two families together, that for some things grew up the same, but then little things that shouldn't even matter were different, and then they kind of clashed into bigger things just because you were stuck in your ways. And trying not to be stubborn enough too stubborn to make those small things big things.
What's the biggest adjustment to marriage?
Yes.
Well, when you stop and think about it, if you get married when you're 36 years old,
you were 36.
You have a lot of habits that, so that's the biggest adjustment, is that you have all these things that you've been doing. All of a sudden you have to live with another person. You've cooked for yourself, you've washed your own clothes, you cleaned your own house, you did your own thing. You did whatever you wanted to do, whenever you wanted to do. And all of a sudden you have a wife, and you gotta work together. So, that was the biggest adjustment for me.
For me, the biggest adjustment, I wasn't quite as old. I was 32. But I think the biggest adjustment, for me was when we got married, I had to move. So when we were dating, I was living in Indianapolis and Galen was living in Goshen. And so then when we got married, I moved up to Goshen. So not only did I get married and then move and have a new community and new job, there's lots of adjustments that was going on there.
New friends.
So it was
kind of make new friends.
Yeah. And even though I went to college there for a couple of years, it was still it's kind of it takes quite a while to develop good friends and fit into the community and all that. So I almost felt like that was a bigger adjustment than the whole actually being married, just some of the things that went along with it.
One thing probably was the food.
I wasn't a good cook.
You were too. It was just different.
Not like your mom.
She taught me to hang up my clothes when I undress, and
You never put them on the floor.
I did too.
That's where the girls get it from.
Uh-huh. But I learned. I know that.
I don't remember that.
Otherwise, I don't know. Just
Probably one of the worst things about for me was he was always late, and I didn't like that.
It's hard to like have one piece of advice, but I would say that like marriage isn't 50-50, it's 100-100. So like I give 100% and Joel gives 100%, and it's never about me, it's always about him, and for him it's never about him, it's about me. And like just learning to learning to be able to give more than you ever receive. And I think one thing that's kind of fun for us, I would say, is we have like a little whiteboard that we write each other, like it just randomly happens. And so we like, I'll wake up in the morning like, oh, there's a new message, or Joel gets home from work and I've written him one. And so I think like making like conscious little efforts to write like notes and just remind each other that we love each other would be good.
For me, the advice would be just to be 100% open with each other. If you hold secrets back, you're never going to get to that spot to where your closeness should be in a marriage. And then just ultimately having Christ be the center of your relationship. If you don't have, not saying that a marriage can't work without Christ, but it's a lot simpler and a lot more. There's an underlying factor of why we love each other, why even when you're pissed off, you still love each other.
Take time to do things just the two of you, because that's something that we needed to take our own advice for, because sometimes when you get married and start having kids and doing all that, you don't take the time to do that. So we need to do a better job at that, I often think. So take time to do stuff, just the two of you. That's one big piece of advice I would have. That's something you would have.
I think oftentimes when you start dating somebody, you think that they're perfect, and all that. So that's, I think, just the realization that you're marrying another flawed human being, and so you're flawed, they're flawed, and I think sometimes we have unreasonable expectations of our spouses,
I think society makes you think that marriage is
like this perfect thing,
Yeah.
that's going to be all roses and all honey, and it's going to be all perfect. And marriage is hard work.
It's always hard work. Doesn't matter. I don't think how long you've been married. I think it's always work. And I think that's something, that I think when you first get married, you think, oh, it's something you have to work at for a while. But I don't know. It's something you always have to work at. At least for us. I don't know. It's different.
Maybe everybody else.
kiss like there's no tomorrow.
Oh my goodness. Always pray before you retire at night. Pray together.
Never use the word divorce in your conversation.
Fry some fish and make a dessert for tomorrow night.
I proposed by coming out on a surprise, a day
Proposed by
earlier
coming
than
out. Did everyone get that?
How did I propose? How did Ruth propose?
Whoever proposed to who?
I proposed to Ruth?
I'm okay,
I can't even think what to say, you flabbergasted.